It is now day 3 of our February Real Food Challenge, and I've got a couple of questions for you to start off today's conversation that I'm having. And a lot of this is coming from posts that I'm seeing inside our challenge group already, and kind of helping the struggles that people are having in figuring out exactly what the right thing to do for themselves in getting healthy and staying healthy and having a healthy food lifestyle. So my first question is, how many of you, and I want you to comment below, raise your hand, do whatever you need to do below to note this, but how many of you weigh yourselves on the scale every morning when you get up? At least 3 times a week, like every other day, a couple times a week, whatever it is, but you weigh yourself on your scale on the regular. Raise your hand if you do that, or post below and say, yes, that's me, I weigh myself. How many of you don't eat anything until lunchtime? Maybe you don't necessarily have always intentionally skipped breakfast, or you've just found that you're not hungry or whatever it is, but you don't eat anything until lunchtime. How many people don't eat until lunchtime? Okay. My third and final question is, how many of you believe that what you're currently doing is considered a diet? A diet, whatever it is, a diet, like you're fasting, for example. You're saying, oh, my friend got really good results by fasting, so you're fasting. Or a really good friend of mine posted and they're doing low carb keto, and I don't eat any carbs. So if you do those things, if that's you and you subscribe to those things, I want you to comment below and say, yes, that's me. Okay, so take a minute to think about those 3 questions, and I want to use those to help springboard us into today's conversation. And that's about the diet culture. The diet culture. You see, my parents, as I said yesterday, enrolled me in Weight Watchers when I was 10 years old. I used to shy away from saying that, by the way, because I was afraid I would get sued. But I've stopped shying away from making that comment, because I want people to understand that Weight Watchers is a diet. Okay, it's not a lifestyle. There is no lifestyle behind calorie restriction. It can be a temporary fix. It can be a temporary test to your body. It can be a temporary reset. But calorie restriction, in the way that Weight Watchers teaches and the tools that they teach us, is not a lifestyle. I don't really care what they put on their website or what they say. The same thing happens for Jenny Craig. Same thing happens for all of the diets out there that we think are the way to go. If you've ever said, oh, my friend got great results doing this, then I'm going to try that. That is a diet, and that is the diet culture. And since 1970, when really the diet culture really began, there are over 700 registered diet programs in the world today, versus just a few handful back in the 70s. But yet, for some reason, at least here in America and spreading all over the world, obesity and overweight problems with being overweight, and the illnesses that come along with being overweight and obese is astronomically grown to unbelievable numbers. And so the diet culture is for some reason, we're buying into the idea that if we restrict our calories, if we just try this tool, then we can sustain a healthy lifestyle. And I'm here to tell you that is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. All right. So I want to dive into this diet culture, and I want to share with you guys something really, first off, to really share with you what it is what I mean by what this did to me. And so, as I said, I started in Weight Watchers when I was 10 years old, and I literally went from diet to diet to diet to diet. Even though I was in the industry, I thought that if I just ate less and worked out harder, I could lose weight. And so here's a point in my life where I was eating about 1,600 calories. And I have to say that a majority of those calories were crappy calories. They would be like a muffin in the afternoon with my coffee, because I didn't eat breakfast at this point in my life. That guy on the left never ate breakfast, because breakfast was calories I didn't need. And I convinced myself that I wasn't hungry. By the time lunch rolled around, I was headachy. I had to have coffee. I usually craved things that were high in cheap calories, like cookies and things like that. And that's normal. My body was sending out signals that it needed energy, and so it craves those things. And that's the reason that we crave those salty, sugary sweets and things like that, because they're quick energy. And so at that point in my life, I was at 35% body fat. I actually went up to almost 40% body fat at one point in my life, and 300 pounds. That photo isn't even the worst. That's just happens to be one of the worst photos I have of myself at that point in my life. And at that point, I was just unhappy, unhealthy, and couldn't exercise, and thought, well, I'm just going to eat less and eat less and eat less. By the way, I'm also mostly at this point in my life, I'm a 100% vegetarian. So I was only eating vegetables and things like that. And so when someone says, oh, I'm just going to be a vegetarian to be healthy, and even being vegetarian does not necessarily mean healthy. That in itself is not inherently healthy. Not that you can't be healthy as a vegetarian. But then I really got focused. I was like, okay, I'm really going to get healthy. I'm going to get healthy for a change. I'm really going to do this. And that middle picture, I lost 100 pounds. That was after I lost my 100 pounds from 300 pounds all the way down to 175 pounds. At that point in that picture, I was 175 pounds. I was eating 2,400 calories a day. I was tracking my food diligently, looking at everything I was putting in my body. My body fat percentage, however, was still 18%, especially because I was so skinny. You can't even see the edge of my arm, but I think my arm was about this big around at the time. And I was in the gym every day. I would go in the morning and run for an hour, and then I would go back and work out for 2 hours. And I was obsessed with the gym because the diet culture told me if I just restricted my calories and worked out harder, I could be healthy. And now healthy means, to me, it means something completely different than what that middle picture shows. In fact, the reason I have that picture on there is my little sister took that photo with me. And the only thing, you can even see where my hand is on her arm, the only thing going through my head at that point is, oh my God, she's squeezing my fat. She's squeezing my fat. You see, even at 175 pounds, as skinny as I was, I had never fixed this part up here that the diet culture so ingrained in me that I just needed to eat less. And in fact, this was a picture that threw me into a relapse into my eating disorders. That's why this picture means so much to me. It threw me into a relapse of my eating disorders. I stopped eating 2,400 calories at this point. I went back to eating those 1,600 calories and worked out even more in the gym until I finally crashed and burned and realized that I had to make some significant changes. Now, that picture on the far right there, that Fit AF, that guy eats 4,200 calories a day. In fact, I push that calorie number quite a bit even higher when I can. Body fat hovering now, it's a little bit different now. Today, I don't work quite as hard to keep my body fat that low because it just doesn't work for me. But at that point, my body fat percentage was at 9%. You can see the veins in my arm and the leanness of my body. I only spent an hour in the gym, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't work out every day. It was only about 5 days a week that I was actually in the gym. And so I didn't have to work out so hard because I worked out differently and I ate properly for my body. Now, this graphic right here, and I love this, it says, back when I was on nearly 300 pounds, I was depressed and I was mean. Well, today I'm in the best shape of my life ever, and I'm still pretty mean. So it doesn't matter how you feel if you're just mean, but I definitely feel so much better today than I ever did back there at that 300-pound mark. Now, I'm going to unshare this because I really want you to see me here in the camera, that how passionate I am about this is because the diet culture was killing me. That guy on the left, that guy weighing 300 pounds was on 7 medications, using alcohol and coffee to do up and down every day because the diet culture had me so screwed up. That guy in the middle still thought that the longer he worked out, the harder he worked out, and as long as he restricted calories, he could maintain that lifestyle. But it wasn't until I crashed that I realized that it was all up here that really mattered. And I had to change what was up here. The diet culture was killing me. Today, I can be healthy because I can surround myself with good quality foods. I can eat. And by the way, eating 4,200 calories, I watched several of you post this where you don't eat breakfast. You don't eat anything. In fact, I've got one person in our challenge posted their breakfast or their lunch, even for the had no breakfast, and even for lunch only had some cheese and grapes. Guys, this is not enough calories to sustain even your normal life. Not eating food, not putting calories in the body does not make a lifestyle. Sure, you might lose a little bit of weight temporarily, but putting few calories in the body, not fueling the body, makes your body weak. It makes you crave things. It makes you angry. It makes you just constantly worried about what you're going to eat and what you're not going to eat. By not putting calories in the body can't do what it's supposed to do. It can't be healthy because you're not giving it nutrition to be healthy. Cheese and grapes does not a meal make. There is no protein, very little protein, and your body has to have protein. So I'm not going to go into today on all the pieces about macronutrients with proteins and carbohydrates and fats. But let me tell you this, the diet culture is ruining you by telling you that you don't need to eat breakfast, or you can only eat a few handfuls of nuts for lunch, and you just eat a sensible dinner, whatever slim fast. 2 shakes for breakfast, a shake for breakfast and lunch, and then a sensible dinner. That's just bullshit. It's absolute crap. You've got to eat. And I will tell you this 100% convinced that the more you eat of healthy, good quality foods, I'm talking good, clean proteins, good, clean carbohydrates. See, you guys don't even know what carbohydrates are. You've been brainwashed into thinking carbohydrates are sugar. You've been brainwashed into think that cookies and pasta are carbohydrates, and they are. But you don't realize that grapes and broccoli and fruits and vegetables and beans and all those things that you can eat, that they're carbohydrates. They're all carbohydrates. And so you've got to stop buying into the diet culture telling you that you can't have these things. When I promise you, if you go from that 300-pound fat AF guy who was mean and fat and overweight and on drugs and on alcohol just to keep his life together, to the person that I am today, and the person that I strive to continue to be every day, eating as much healthy food as I can possibly put in my body. Do you guys realize how much food 4,200 calories of healthy food is? It's a lot of food. And the more of it I eat, the better my body becomes. Yesterday, when I talked about tracking, if I look back on my tracking and realize that I'm slacking on that, I'm not eating as much good quality calories because maybe I'm feeling a little fat or I'm feeling fluffy, and I back down my calories, it only gets worse. My body only responds more negatively. I have to eat more food, more healthy food, so that my body feels like doing something powerful with it. I can then go work out and have a great workout. My body utilizes those calories. So stop thinking that depriving your body of calories, and stop thinking that I can only eat 1 meal a day. Stop thinking that I just need to fast 1 day a week and it's going to fix everything. Stop thinking that you just need to eat only protein in your life and everything will take care of itself. You need all of the foods, and you need them on a regular basis in your body. In order to get 4,200 calories in my body, I eat 8 meals a day, 8 times a day. And some of you struggle to eat 1 meal and 1 little snack because you're trying to lose weight. And I can promise you, you're killing yourself. You're absolutely killing yourself, and your body is revolting and will shut down. It will not do the work you want it to do if you continue to feed it that way. That is why you start over and over and over in the diet world. I'm going to try this diet. I'm going to try that diet. I'm going to try that diet. As I always say, if those things worked, you wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be right back here in the beginning today trying to figure it out differently. So let's do something different over the next 30 days. We're going to continue giving you as much of this information as possible, but I had to spend today breaking you of this diet culture because it is killing you. That's my message for today. I look forward to bringing you more stuff every single day. All of the coaches here are super excited about sharing with you, and we're ready to help you get healthy. You just simply have to listen and do the work. That's it. That's all you got to do. So I hope you learned something today. Let me know below what you think. I will see you guys tomorrow.